evening all. Okay, so we're going to do a jambalaya this evening. Hope you all had a good weekend. So traditionally, I would use chicken breast and chorizo with this. This is one of the dishes that we do for delivery with prep. However, tonight, or generally what I tend to do on a Monday, okay, that tends to be our shopping day. So I tend to go through the fridge and see what needs using. I hate wasting food. Okay, so I go through and I look at my dates on different things. So I've got green beans here that are supposed to be used on the 26th. That was obviously yesterday. However, I'm using my eyes, I'm using my nose, and if needs be, using my taste to tell that they are still okay. Okay, and I'll get them fried up this evening, not a problem. So it's a case of going through your fridge, looking at what needs to be used up, and that's what I tend to do on a Monday. So I won't be using chicken breast, I will be using turkey sausages, because they need to be used on the 27th. So the first thing I'm going to get done is brown off my chorizo. Okay, and then I'm going to brown off my sausages, and then I'm going to set them to one side. Now Lisa asked me a few weeks ago, could I do a one pot dish? Right, so that was a request that I had. So I'm going to do everything today, all in that pot. I'm going to go up as far as getting the rice and all the liquid in, covering it with tin foil, and then I'm going to leave it there because you guys aren't going to want to hang around for 20 to 25 minutes waiting for that to cook. So I'll let that do its thing, and then I'll post a picture up of the finished product. So away we go. Let's get the heat on the pan. Okay, using chorizo, I'm not going to go with any oil. For those that have been watching the ones that we've done previously where we've used chorizo. I don't know what we've used chorizo on now. Chicken and chorizo pie.
That was the last one, I think.
Yeah, but no another one we used chorizo for. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm just going to go rings with the chorizo. Okay, I've got the heat going on there. I'm going to pop that into a dry pan. Alright, and then all the nice kind of red paprika flavoured oils will start coming out of this chorizo. So just out of interest then, those turkey sausages, I sent a little link to the guys on Plan X earlier on today, just to say that these are really a really good option. You know, kids love sausages as well, and generally they are about 10 grams of protein per sausage, very low in carbs, very low in fat as far as sausages are concerned. Turkey's a very lean meat. Okay, and there's going to be loads and loads of flavour in this dish, and it won't be bland. Okay, if you were vegetarian, if you are vegetarian, you could use maybe some vegetarian sausages. You could use tofu. Pescatarian, I would say, so a traditional southern style jambalaya would have prawns in it as well. For the pescatarians, you could go with maybe just some prawns. All right, but loads and loads of flavour in this one. Again, all from scratch, so we don't mind getting a bit of salt and seasoning that going in. However, I am using chicken stock this evening, so I'll keep my salt levels down. So, onion, sorry, I'm wrong, onions. Chorizo on in the pan. I'm just going to get a little side dish. Oh look, we have some pods from our prep company. So a little side dish, I'm going to pop that in a second. Then I'll get the sausages. Those same oils. Right, we might need a little bit of extra oil because these sausages aren't going to give off a great deal of oil because they're very lean. Alright, they're just Sainsbury's turkey sausages. Alright, 8 of them I've got. So what I'll do is I'll cook them up, and when once we've browned them off a little bit, I'll cut them into rings similar to the size of that. But we're going to get all the meats browned off first. We're going to put it all to one side, and then we're going to get our veg cooking. Then we'll get our rice in there, and then finally we will get our sauce and whatnot in, our liquid for it all to cook through. Okay, so let's just get that moving around. Let's turn that heat up a little bit more. So you see how the oils are starting to come out of that? But we don't need to go mad with it. We're just trying to put a bit of browning onto the outside of it because it is already cooked. Okay, so we've got a legs and shoulders session tomorrow with the dumbbells. So if you've got your dumbbells, guys, or you've been improvising, get those dumbbells out. We're going to work that tomorrow morning at 9:30. So lots of combination movements. People really enjoyed that last leg and shoulder one we did, not last week but the week before. Quite a tough one that, because you're using obviously big muscles with the legs and then some smaller muscles with your shoulders. Okay, so that, my chorizo is almost done. As soon as that's done, we'll get the sausages in, we'll give the board a quick wipe down. We're going to get our onion chopped up. We're going to go with our garlic, pepper, okay, carrot, celery, all things that I've put on the list, and a bit of green beans. Okay, a couple of extra bits that I've got there then. I've got 3 runner beans left over, okay, and I've got 2 baby corn left over. So I'm going to chop them up as well, get them in. So this is a real dish, guys. Although I put an ingredients list up, this is a real dish where you can improvise, you can adapt it. Right, if I had asparagus and things like that needed maybe using up, I could chop that up. Yeah, no reason why you just can't get all your kind of leftover bits. It's very like, jambalaya is very similar to a paella. Paella is obviously a Spanish dish. Lots of fish in. A southern style jambalaya is a dish down in kind of the Orleans region. But they use kind of smoky sausage and flavours like paprika and cayenne pepper, a little bit more spicy. Okay, so chorizo, well, I lost a couple bits. Chorizo to one side. Okay, same oils then, let's get those sausages in there. If we need to add a little bit more oil in a minute, we will. All I'm trying to do with those sausages, guys, is just give them a little bit of colour on the outside, because they are going to cook during that time in the jambalaya. Okay, so once all the water and everything goes in there, they're going to have another 25 minutes of cooking. So they're kind of going to cook in stock, for instance. Right, let me just give that one a quick wipe down. We just had raw meat on it. Okay, give that one a quick dry off. Then we're going to go veg. Right, let's get all our vegetables prepared. So I said again, 1 onion. I've got half an onion that needs to be used, and I've got a very small red onion. Again, I'm just getting things used up. Probably say that a few times tonight. I am a fan of getting stuff. Oh, just give that one a quick wipe as well. Sorry guys, I just use that one for the sausages as well, haven't I? Okay. So I'm going to dice. Let's take the tip of the onion. Are you eating my chorizo? I'm going to take the end of the onion off. Okay. We'll lose the skin. We're going to go nice dice. So for those of you that have been following quite regularly, you should know our little routine now. Keeping the root on, going just short of the root. So I'm just going to use that pot and put all my prepared vegetables in. Okay, so onion going in the hole. We'll do that red onion as well. So don't panic if you haven't got any of the things that I've got here, but you've got other things. As long as you've got the main bit of, it's all absolutely fine there. As long as you've got the main bit of meats, yes, you've got the meat, or you're going to improvise with some other little bits. The flavours, that's important. Make sure you're getting the flavours in there. Otherwise, you could end up with quite a bland dish. Okay. So I'm just going to take the skin off the small red onion that I've got. The outer skin's going a bit naff on that one, so let's just pop that to one side. Okay, so same again then, just short of the root. This is another one the kids really like. Kids love sausages, rice, sauce. Really easy, one dish. Okay, the preparation time probably takes the longest, and then you can just step away from it, turn it onto low heat, just let it simmer away, cook away, until your rice is cooked. Right, all you need to do is just give it a stir every now and then, just to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. Okay, so my onion's done. my sausages and move around. Lovely, so have a look in there now, look, that's what we're trying to get. Nice bit of colour on the outside of the skins. So let's make sure we turn them. Lovely. Okay, lid of the pepper off. Guts to one side. Get rid of all the seeds. Pop the green root out. Again, get rid of the seeds. Okay, nice. Dose that one up. Use all your pepper. Use the lid in the lot. Okay, I'm not going to have any chorizo left in a minute, those of you watching, because the camera lady keeps dipping her fingers in. I think I'm going to have to pull it over this way a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to go nice, small dice on that pepper. That's similar size to what the onion was. Move some of those seeds out of that. There we go. Lovely. Just get rid of the whitey pith bit. Go. Let's give them a little wiggle again. Nice, guys. So they don't need to, these sausages don't need to be fully cooked all the way through. Okay, so 2 baby corn. Again, like I said, I'm just using up stuff. Don't panic if you haven't got it. If you haven't got rice, then you're pretty stuffed. You do need that kind of base. Right, guys, I'm just going to pop the garlic, take the root off that. So you'll notice all these vegetables are all just going into this one pot in front of me, like a veg prep pot. And then in a minute, once we've got rid of those sausages, we'll just get that all going. We'll just give that a nice frying off, get a little bit of colour through that. And again, that will continue to cook whilst it's in the liquids of the jambalaya. So I'm just going to dice that garlic up nice and small. Okay, happy with that. Let's just get that in there. Okay, we're going to go with, I'm going to go with 2 pieces of celery, guys, because these are quite small. So nice and thin on the celery. Celery going in, nice bit of green. Okay, we've got 3 green beans left over. We're going to get those going in there. A little bit more green going in. You can see how colourful this is all going to be. Okay, I've got some green beans that I want to use up. Let's use those ones first. Pop that rubbish to one side. Okay. Give those a little move around again. Okay, they're almost there though. So I reckon they'll come up just in time for me to finish. Let me just pop that one on, guys. Just to finish my veg. A similar size to my green beans. Lovely. Last one I'm going to do, a little bit of carrot. Woo. Get rid of my waste there. Okay, all I'm going to do with my carrots half, and then half again in the other direction. Okay, I'm just going to go slight angles. Loads of goodness going in there tonight. Now the other reason we tend to do that on Mondays is because we relax a little bit over the weekend and we don't necessarily eat as healthy. We don't eat bad, but maybe, we'll have a pizza or tend to kind of really make sure we're getting a nice good start to our week on a Monday. Breakfast, lunch and dinner. Okay, sausages. The sausage is going to go in with my chorizo. Right, that can all just sit there lovely. That's just going to settle to one side. Get rid of my rubbish in a second. Okay, I'm going to need some oil now in my pan. So I'm going to go with a bit of coconut oil. Same pan, guys. A bit of coconut oil. Okay, I'm going to turn that pan down just a touch. There's not loads, just make sure it's covering the bottom. I'm going to turn that down, that pan down a little bit. It's quite hot now. Okay, let's get this vegetables going. Beautiful. I'm going to give that a dip for 5 minutes. Fry all that off. Get a little bit of colour going through it all. And then I'll go through the last couple of bits I've got. Okay, passata, guys. So just whilst that's cooking away, some of you might not have heard of passata. When I've mentioned it to clients and whatnot before in the Nutrition Academy, they've maybe not used it. Basically, if you haven't got passata or you can't get hold of passata, right, you can just use tomato puree and water. Right? All you're doing is making up a thick tomatoey sauce. Right? I picked that one up. They do it in cartons sometimes rather than just jars. You can pick it up from most good supermarkets. But like I said, if you just want to make up your own, it'll be cheaper. Season it with salt and pepper. And it wants to be a nice thick consistency. I'll show you in a minute when I pour that one in. Right, so lovely bit of colour going on in that pot now. My red onions, my green beans, my corn, my carrots, all those little bits that I wanted to get used up. Okay, so I'm just going to let that brown off. I'm going to get rid of some of this waste, and then we'll come back and then we'll start getting some of the flavours that are actually going to flavour the dish for us. All right, and then we'll get our kettle on in a second as well, and get our stock going. Now, stock, I didn't put a measurement up on stock because it's very much a case of how much you need. Okay, I'm going to fill up a litre in a minute. I'm going to bring the stock right up over the top of the rice. So I know it's all fully, completely covered, and then it's a case of every now and then going back to it, giving it a stir. It's starting to dry out and the rice isn't yet cooked. You simply add a little bit more stock. Alright, just have a teaspoon at hand, take a little taste of the rice. If it's still that little bit crunchy and you're starting to lose all your liquid, you just add a little bit more. Simple as that. Don't worry about getting these vegetables cooked all the way through so they're kind of starting to soften, because that will take place again when that liquid goes in a minute. What have I got here? I've got some cayenne pepper, I've got some paprika, I've got my passata that we spoke about just a second ago, I've got my rice. I'm going to put a little bit of thyme in just to flavour it, and then I'm going to garnish it and finish it with some coriander, of course.
There's a shot.
Coriander. Okay. So let's get the kettle on. We need some chicken stock. Guys, if you're trying to make a vegetarian dish, obviously you've gone through all the efforts of not using any meat, and obviously you could just use a vegetable stock to do this next part. Don't panic. Okay, so I'm just going to get myself a jug. Like I said, I didn't put up a measurement on the overall ingredients list, guys, because it's very much a case of adding to it as and when it needs it. You'll notice that I haven't used any salt and pepper yet. I will do so at the end, depending on the flavour. I'll have a little taste of it, see what I'm thinking of it, see whether it needs any seasoning. Yeah, but there is, again, as I say on all these things, whenever we use a stock, there is lots of salt already in stock cubes. Pepper I'll probably have to do it. We all like a bit of pepper. Any questions so far, anyone?
No questions. Louise Emma says she can't wait to try it out.
Yeah, good.
Everyone else has not asked any questions, just tuned in.
Oh, I've been getting lots of pictures of food today from the guys on Plan X. If you're wondering when I keep going on about Plan X and you're wondering what the hell I'm on about, it's our online fitness and nutrition program, 10-week plan. And they've all got different recipe packs to follow, depending on their goals. And I just keep getting pictures all day of food, which is fantastic, but it constantly makes me feel hungry. I'm looking at people's creations, and it's just really cool to see people following recipes that you've written, and people that have been doing some of these as well. I had a lovely message from Sally Smith today to say that she did the risotto last week, and her mum is, I think her words were, a cordon bleu cook, trained cook, and she was very impressed. She enjoyed it, so that's really cool. Mum's happy. Chicken satay, so many people have done. The Mullis family, I know, we're doing the chicken and chorizo pie at the weekend. So it's just lovely to think that ultimately I'm cooking tea for my family, but if you guys are getting something from it, then that's really cool. Right, what we're going to do next then? Paprika. No, cayenne pepper even. Okay, my cayenne pepper looks like it's in the decks of...
Knew I should have thrown that one out.
It'll be fine, hands. Spices don't go out a day.
Apparently not.
No. Right. Cayenne pepper, 1 teaspoon in. Let's mix that through first. You've got to make sure you mix that through, guys, because what those spices, they'll absorb your oil and dry things out quite a lot. Okay, so that's your heat. Your cayenne pepper's your heat. Right, that's where your spice comes from. Okay, next is your paprika. This is where your smoky flavour comes from. So you can get lots of different variations of paprika. This one is literally a smoked paprika, as you can see. Some of them are spicier than others. Alright, so again, just play with this, have a little go. If one time it comes up too spicy, you either need to look at your paprika, make sure it's not a spicy one, or you need to just reduce down your cayenne pepper. If someone doesn't like spice whatsoever, take the cayenne pepper out. However, I'll be adding extra chilli to mine at the end. Okay, what else are we going to go with? We're going to go with, we've got some of those flavours. I'm going to go a little bit of thyme. Okay, I'm not even going to bother trying to take the leaves off the stalks, guys. I'm just going to let that cook right at the end, where all those leaves would have fallen off, right, and I'll just be left with a soggy stalk. I'll just drag that out. Alright, so that's going in. A little bit of thyme. Okay, let's get our stock going.
Pip says, good evening, guys. What have you been baking today, Pip?
Ah, Pip's been baking.
She's normally baking every day.
Pip, we haven't forgotten. We will get a curry around to you. I will get a curry around to you. It's on my to-do list.
You've got a curry on the list this week, actually, haven't you?
If you let you finish. You may well find there will be a green Thai chicken curry coming your way. Okay, so stock. I'm now going to go in with my rice. Now I'm going to go in with my rice before I go in with my liquid, because what I want to happen is I want that rice to suck up some of that juice and whatnot in there. Now, guys, I'm roughly going to go with about a third of this pack. Right, this is I'm pretty sure, I don't want to make sure now before I say it. I can't let me find it. I'm sure it's a 1 kilogram pack, guys. Right, so I'm going in there. Okay, I roughly know how much I need to do. If you want to measure it out, guys, I would suggest about 100 grams of uncooked rice per adult is plenty. Right, by the time it cooks with everything else that we've already got going on in this dish. And if you've got some left over, brilliant, because what it can do is go in the fridge for lunch tomorrow. A little bit more. Okay, yeah, like I said, about a third I use there. Hannah, you're better at maths than me. What's that in grams, my love?
About 300, 350. You probably used a bit more than that.
No, I haven't.
So, yeah, about 350.
Okay, sausages going in. So that's my sausage. Oh, 2 secs. Let's go back one. We did say, right, and this is literally just so it's easier for the children. Okay. So I'm going to just chop my sausages into little rounds. Right, and it's just, so when you're serving it up, you're just going to get nice sausage that you can just pop right in your mouth. You don't need to be cutting it up. You can just eat this with a spoon out of a bowl.
She's baking bread tomorrow.
Baking bread. You can see, guys, that those sausages pretty much cooked, right? So they're going to finish during this period now. A lot of my lot have been baking banana bread, Pip. And some of them were quite surprised. Oh, how come it's got so much carbohydrates in it? Well, because bread and bananas are both carbohydrates. However, again, it does look very good. Banana bread, very good when you let the bananas go really ripe. So when they've gone a little bit too far, no one wants to eat them, that's the time you make banana bread. Okay, so I've just chopped up my turkey sausages. Lovely, there we go. So now I'm going to get my liquid in. Excuse me. I'm going to go about half that to begin with. Okay, and then I'm going to get my passata in. Lovely, and I'm going to make sure I don't lose any of that, so I'm going to get a little bit of water in there. Give that a shake through, make sure I get all that sauce out. Okay, so that's taken about 30 minutes, guys, and then it will take about another 20 to 25 minutes to cook. So 30 minutes of prep, and now I'm just going to leave that on the top. I'm going to cover it with tin foil in a second. Make sure I get my thyme in there. So I'm going to go with a little bit more water, just because I want it to cover the dish, and it's not quite covering, so not water, sorry, a little bit more stock. Alright, so what I'll do, because I have almost used all of that there this evening, so what I will do, yeah, I'll just get a little bit more of that on reserve. So if that's starting to dry out, if that dish is starting to dry out, I've just got a little bit more water that I can add into it. Right, so all I'm going to do now, just to recap, and I'll come back to that every maybe 10 minutes or so, and I'm just going to check to see whether the rice is cooked, okay, and make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. So every 10 minutes or so, I'm just going to come along, have a little look, give it a scrape along the bottom. That's going to thicken up quite a lot, guys. You don't want to serve that all watery, right? But it wants to have a nice kind of thick sauce with it. So make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. Test your rice in about 20 to 25 minutes time. If it's starting to dry out, add a little bit of water.
What heat have you got that on?
What heat have I got that on?
Medium?
I'm at 8 at the minute. I'm probably going to turn it down to a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
So if you're on gas, I'd say a middle heat. Right, you've done all your hot stuff, trying to seal all those flavours in that end, and now you just want that to simmer away like you would normally do rice. Yeah, so like you would normally cook your rice, that kind of simmer temperature. So the last thing I will do with that is I will garnish that with some coriander. Again, not necessary if you haven't got it. All right, really healthy dish. Brown rice is basically your carbohydrate in there. I've got turkey sausages and chorizo. Yeah, so you get a nice bit of fats from the chorizo, protein from both. Yeah, you're not getting a great deal of fat from those turkey sausages, and then just loads of goodness from all those vegetables I've just used up. Okay, I'll pop a picture up of that dish at about 7 o'clock. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow for legs and shoulders. Cheers.